All right, let's dive into some fresh Tesla news today. We've got a handful of articles here from not a Tesla app, and we're going to break down the big stuff.
Sounds good.
So, everyone can kind of stay up to date on what's happening with Tesla.
Definitely some interesting stuff happening lately with Tesla.
Yeah, for sure. So one of the first things that popped out to me was that Tesla finally added those voice commands in the 2024 holiday update. A lot of owners have been asking about these for a while now.
Yeah, those voice commands, they're more than just a convenience thing though, right? Like, they point to Tesla moving more and more towards hands-free driving. Think about it. You can change your HOV lane settings or turn on your fog lights just with your voice.
Yeah, I see what you mean. That's a good point.
That's a step towards interacting with your car more seamlessly, maybe even focusing more on the road.
So are you saying that, like, just by looking at these new voice commands, we can sort of see where Tesla is going in the long run with driving?
Exactly. It's not just voice commands either. This article mentions that Tesla's planning a whole new voice command system sometime early next year. So makes you wonder, what are they cooking up, right? How is this going to change how we interact with our cars?
Definitely something to keep an eye on. Now, let's switch gears for a sec and talk about superchargers.
Sure.
Tesla's been, like, crazy busy expanding their network, and it looks like they're letting owners vote on new locations now?
Smart move, don't you think? Builds community, makes owners feel more involved in, like, building out the charging network. It's also a really practical way to see where the demand is.
Yeah, it's like they're crowdsourcing their expansion plan. The results from the last voting round are pretty wild, too. They're adding superchargers all over, like Bathurst and New Brunswick, Cody, Wyoming,
Wow.
even Dubrovnik, Croatia,
Mm-hmm.
and Hakuba Village in Japan.
That's awesome. They're really trying to make driving a Tesla long distances easier, not just in the US, but all over.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of other EV companies are behind on charging. So Tesla's really thinking ahead with this. I think this is a big part of how they get new customers who are worried about range and stuff.
Yeah, they're building a whole ecosystem for EVs. And the superchargers are like a huge part of that. But it's not just about adding more chargers, right? They're also improving what they've got. One of the articles here actually talks about how the Cybertruck is having some issues with charging and regenerative braking in cold weather.
Ah, yeah, the Cybertruck. It's like pushing the limits of tech comes with some challenges, you know? Those 4680 battery cells, they're supposed to give better range and performance. But they seem to be super sensitive to temperature.
Yeah, it sounds like some owners are having to precondition the battery at a supercharger before they'd even charge at home. Kind of a hassle.
Yeah, definitely shows the downsides of new tech sometimes. But what's interesting to me is how Tesla's fixing it. No expensive hardware recall or anything. They're going to fix it with a software update in 2025.2.
So they're basically treating it like a software bug.
Exactly. Shows how agile they are. You know, might not be ideal for Cybertruck owners right now. But it shows Tesla's all about continuous improvement and that they can use software updates to fix things fast.
It makes you wonder if this is the way all car companies will handle things in the future,
Right.
as cars become more reliant on software and everything.
Definitely a trend to watch.
Okay, so let's take a step back and recap what we've talked about.
Sounds good.
We've seen how Tesla's using voice commands, maybe to pave the way for totally hands-free driving someday, how they're strategically expanding the supercharger network to make long-distance EV travel more realistic, and how they're tackling technical issues with innovative software solutions.
Exactly.
Tesla's not just building cars anymore. It's like they're building a whole vision for how we get around in the future.
A whole ecosystem, and that vision is constantly evolving, driven by a relentless pursuit of innovation. What's fascinating to me is that Tesla is not just focused on the cutting-edge tech, but also on building a community and getting their customers involved in the journey.
Yeah, it's like they're building a movement, not just a company. So what can our listeners expect as we dive into the next set of articles?
We're going to look at some of the more unique features of the Cybertruck, like the rear view camera and app-controlled door access. We'll also look at behind-the-scenes improvements Tesla has made to stuff like auto park, valet mode, and the cabin radar. And of course, we can't forget about the Cybertruck's aero wiper trick. It's like a testament to Tesla's attention to detail and making everything as efficient as possible.
Sounds like a lot to cover. Let's jump right in.
Okay, so picking up where we left off, let's talk about some of the Cybertruck's unique features. It seems like Tesla's really leaning into software to kind of overcome some hardware limitations.
Oh, interesting. What do you mean?
Well, one article here talks about the Cybertruck's rear view camera. The truck's design is pretty unconventional. No traditional rear window. So it makes sense that Tesla's added a zoom function to the rear view camera.
Oh, so instead of like a physical zoom on the camera itself, they're just doing it digitally with software.
Right. This approach not only keeps the design sleek, but it could also make manufacturing cheaper. And it gives them more flexibility to add upgrades and stuff later on.
That's a good point.
Huh.
I remember hearing rumors about Tesla maybe adding night vision or even augmented reality to their cameras in the future. Imagine seeing real-time info about your surroundings right on the camera feed.
Yeah, that would be amazing. That's the beauty of a software-driven approach, right? The possibilities are endless. But the rear view camera isn't the only thing getting a software boost. The article also mentions a new update that'll let Cybertruck owners open the doors right from the Tesla app.
Whoa, seriously? No more key fob.
Looks like it. It takes keyless entry to a whole new level. It ties back to what we were saying earlier, Tesla's vision of this seamless ecosystem, where your phone is basically the control center for your whole Tesla experience.
It's like your phone becomes a high-tech remote control for your Cybertruck. I wonder if other car makers will start doing similar stuff with their apps. It seems like the natural next step as cars get more connected and high-tech.
Yeah, for sure. It'll be interesting to see how things play out. But, it's not all about flashy new features. Tesla's also focusing on improving existing features behind the scenes.
What kind of improvements?
Well, one of the articles dives into the updated owner's manual. And it talks about updates to things like auto park, valet mode, even the cabin radar.
I admit I sometimes overlook those smaller updates, but they're just as important as the big, splashy features. It shows that Tesla's committed to constantly making their cars better, even in ways you might not notice right away.
Exactly. Like the cabin radar. That's the system that detects if anyone's left inside the car, so you don't accidentally leave kids or pets behind. It sounds like Tesla's been working on making that feature even more accurate and reliable.
That's so important, especially these days. With so many distractions, it's easy to forget. It's good to know they're making safety a priority. Oh, did you see the article about the Cybertruck's windshield wiper? That arrow wiper trick they called it?
Oh, yeah, that was cool. So it turns out that single wiper blade isn't just a design thing. It actually changes its angle as the truck speeds up to reduce wind noise and improve aerodynamics.
Oh, it's like every little detail is designed for maximum performance. I love that they're obsessed with optimizing everything.
Yeah, that's classic Tesla. But looking ahead, there are some hints about even more new features coming soon.
Ooh, spill the tea.
Well, the article mentions some possibilities, like new navigation options, trailer profiles for towing, even a feature that lowers the climate fan speed when you're on a call.
Now that's smart.
It's like they're always thinking about how to make the experience better, even in the smallest ways.
Yeah, they're definitely paying attention to what owners want.
And this constant flow of updates keeps people engaged.
It's like turning car ownership into a subscription service.
Yeah.
You're always getting something new.
Totally different from the old way of doing things. All right, let's zoom out for a minute and think about Tesla's long-term goals. Where do they see themselves going with all this?
Good question.
Well, there's an article here about Elon Musk's latest comments on self-driving. He seems pretty confident that Tesla will achieve level 5 autonomy, fully driverless cars, within the next few years. He even hinted at a self-driving taxi service in some cities.
Wow, that's a bold prediction. But I guess it's not totally out there, considering Tesla's track record.
It's definitely ambitious. It'll take a lot to overcome the technical challenges and the regulations and get people on board with the idea. But if they can pull it off, it would completely change how we get around.
Yeah, imagine cars driving themselves. We could finally get stuff done during our commutes, maybe even reduce traffic jams.
And potentially make the roads safer.
It's exciting, but also kind of scary. It raises a lot of questions about what this means for society.
Absolutely. But it's good that Tesla is not just focused on the tech itself. They're also working with lawmakers and educating the public and doing tons of testing to make sure their self-driving systems are safe.
Right. Innovation can't just happen in a bubble. We have to think about how it affects everyone.
Exactly. Okay, time to shift gears again. Let's talk about Tesla's energy business.
Oh yeah, Tesla Energy. It often gets overshadowed by the cars, but they're doing some pretty amazing things with renewable energy.
For sure. One of the articles highlights their progress with Powerwall home batteries and those megapack utility scale batteries.
Right. Those are becoming so important as we move towards sustainable energy.
Definitely. Powerwall lets homeowners store solar energy, so they're less reliant on the grid. And Megapack can help utility companies manage energy supply and demand, especially with all the ups and downs of renewable sources.
It's amazing how they're tackling energy storage on both a small and large scale. Oh, and don't forget about the solar roof. Those solar panels that are integrated right into the roof tiles.
Yeah, those are sleek. You can barely even tell they're there. It shows Tesla cares about design even when it comes to sustainability.
It's all about creating a complete ecosystem for clean energy, just like they're doing with electric vehicles.
Exactly. It's all part of their mission to move the world towards sustainable energy.
It's incredible how they're disrupting two major industries at the same time. I wonder what they'll set their sights on next.
Right. Okay, one last topic for this section. Tesla's decision to integrate the X app into their cars.
Ah, yes, the merging of social media and driving. Definitely a controversial move.
Some people are excited about it. Others are worried about distractions and safety.
Yeah, what are your thoughts? I'm kind of torn. On one hand, it would be cool to have all that info and entertainment right there in your car. Sharing your ETA with friends, listening to podcasts, even joining virtual meetings.
Yeah, it could definitely make driving more fun and productive.
But I also worry about it becoming a huge distraction. It's hard enough to stay focused on the road as it is.
You're right, that's a valid concern. The key is finding the right balance between convenience and safety. Tesla's going to have to make sure drivers aren't tempted to use social media in a dangerous way.
Maybe they could disable certain features while the car is moving, or use some kind of driver monitoring system to watch for distracted behavior.
Yeah, those are good ideas. It's going to be interesting to see how they handle it. It shows that with new technology, we have to think about the ethical side, too.
It's not just about what we can do, but what we should do.
Exactly.
Well, I think that's a good place to wrap up this section. We've covered a lot of ground today, from the Cybertruck's unique features to Tesla's plans for self-driving cars and their work with sustainable energy.
It's clear that Tesla's a company that never stops moving, always pushing the boundaries.
And in our final segment, we'll talk about what all this means for the future, what Tesla's journey tells us about technology, transportation, and our relationship with the world around us. Okay, so as we wrap up our Tesla deep dive today, I keep coming back to just how ambitious they are. It's not just cars, it's like they're building a whole vision of the future.
Totally. They're going after so many different industries at once: automotive, transportation, energy, even software.
Right, and they're always pushing for innovation. And of course, sustainability.
Yeah, they really seem to be rewriting the rules of how a company can operate and, make a difference in the world.
I think their software-first approach is a perfect example of that. It lets them adapt so quickly, respond to feedback, and keep improving their cars even after they're sold.
Right, no more waiting years for a new model to get the latest features.
Totally different from how traditional car companies have always done things.
And you can see other companies starting to follow Tesla's lead. More over-the-air updates, more focus on connected features.
It's like they're ushering in a new era of car ownership.
Where your car is constantly evolving.
But it's not just about the cars themselves, is it? Like you said before, it's about the whole ecosystem.
Exactly. The Supercharger network is a prime example. By building out that charging infrastructure, they're addressing one of the biggest concerns people have about EVs, that range anxiety.
And it's not just for Tesla owners either.
Right. It benefits everyone who drives an EV.
They're thinking long-term, investing in the future of sustainable transportation.
And let's not forget about Tesla Energy. It might not get as much attention as the cars, but it's a critical part of their vision.
Definitely. They're making huge strides in energy storage, which is essential for a sustainable energy future.
Those Powerwall home batteries, the Megapack systems for utilities, they're helping to create a more resilient and decentralized energy grid.
It's all connected. Electric vehicles, solar panels, home batteries. It's like they're building this whole integrated system where individuals can generate, store, and use clean energy.
It's pretty amazing to see it all coming together.
So at the end of the day, what's the big takeaway for our listeners? What do we want them to remember from our Tesla deep dive?
I think the most important thing is that innovation isn't just about technology. It's about a way of thinking.
A mindset.
Exactly. It's about being bold, curious, always trying to improve things.
Challenging the status quo, embracing change.
And never settling for good enough.
I think Tesla embodies that spirit. They're not afraid to push boundaries and take risks to achieve their vision of a better future.
And they remind us that we all have a role to play in shaping that future, whether it's through the choices we make as consumers or the innovations we create as entrepreneurs and engineers.
Tesla shows us that change is possible and that even the biggest challenges can be overcome with a little bit of ingenuity and a lot of determination.
Well said.
So that wraps up our deep dive into the world of Tesla. We hope you've enjoyed the journey and that you'll continue to explore the possibilities of a more sustainable and innovative future. Thanks for listening.